Thank you, Frugal Mama. I'm on mute. Thank you. Let's just rewind again. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for being here. We're going to get right into it today. Good morning, Sam. Good morning, Willis and Frugal Mama, because you didn't hear me in the first place. It's been a minute, obviously. I was announcing the Herb Garden Challenge. So for those who didn't know, the Herb Garden Challenge is on as of March the 1st. He did give an extension until March the 10th for the herb garden to get your video up if you're participating. So my video is just 10 herbs. I may not pick those 10. I am changing the herbs that I picked because I was scrambling. And then the next update is the 25th, I believe, of every month, the 5th and the 20th. Anyways, I put the post on my feed so you can see it there. And it's twice a month. I don't know if it's the first, no, the 5th. I can't remember, but twice a month you got to put a video up. So the next video you'll see what I actually picked because I was scrambling at the time when I found out. So the Herb Garden, the Planter HGC 2025 is on. So those of you who thought you couldn't get in, you still got time to get in and pick your 10 herbs and get that started for the challenge. It's really a self challenge, to be honest, so that you can just push yourself to maybe grow different herbs or even grow herbs. Because sometimes you're like, oh, I'm not going to bother this year. I'm just not going to bother. And now I'm bothering. So it forces you. So I'm going to be trying some new herbs. I might keep those herbs indoors, to be honest, so I don't have to go in and out. So we'll figure that out. Also, I think there's another challenge going on, but I can't remember offhand. But that's the main one right now. I think there's going to be some coming up. And as you know, there's going to be the watermelon challenge that will be coming up in the warmer months for the watermelon king or queen of 2025. Last year, Naked Gardener pretty much won twice because he grew two 50-pound watermelons. And it wasn't even weighed properly because the scale was broken. So it was probably more than 50 pounds. So that's that. For announcements, and I think so. Everybody's pretty much daylight saving times this weekend. You're losing an hour. You spring forward, but also we're getting more daylight hours, which is fantastic. It's brighter. It's sunnier. The snow is finally melting. The chickens are laying a bit more, so that's fantastic. Also, I think there's another challenge coming. I can't remember. I don't know. And then today, morning broke. Today, Garden State Gardener, I saw his thumbnail. I think it's Grow Big TV. Maybe I'm wrong, but if you know Garden State Gardener or Grow Big TV, it's one of the two channels. He is speaking, from what I recall, to the creator of the purple tomato, the infamous purple tomato. Good morning to you, Grow Row. So if you're interested in that, 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time today, he is going live, him and Corky. So it must be Grow Big TV, and they'll be doing a live today. So check that out. Also, I can't remember. Some other people, I don't think Whiteside's going. They usually have a live with some medical information. I don't see that they have a thumbnail, so I guess they're not. It hasn't come up yet, but they usually go live with medical information. Catch the replays of Whiteside Tactical. They cover different topics. I think they covered thyroid at one point. They covered blood pressure and something else. So it's very good information from two licensed doctors, and you can, ask general questions, but they give you enough to go take to your actual practitioner and ask questions in person. That's pretty much the updates. How's everybody doing? I hope you started your seeds. I started my seeds, some of them, not all of them. I'm kind of behind based on my spreadsheet, but it's just a spreadsheet, it's a guideline. I got a new grow light that came last night. I will set it up today and see how it goes. But it's been a struggle for the indoor garden. I think this unit, it's not the unit, it's not the lights. I think the unit may need to be sanitized again. It could be the filter. I did clean it, but maybe it wasn't clean as well as I thought because the other units are just fine. It's not the seeds. I think you Grow Roll mentioned the seeds. I tried the same seeds in a different unit, popped up in a couple of days. So it's something to do with, and it's not the sponge because I use the same brand of sponge in the same bag. So I think the unit, there's just something a little off. It could be the water that needs changing. I didn't restart the whole thing. I just put some new seeds. Whatever popped up, pops up. And by the time my outdoor garden is popping, I'm going to dismantle them and reset them for a new batch Good morning, Virginia Bushcrafter, for a new batch. But I do want to grow some of my leafy greens indoors. I'm having a hard time of harvesting because I harvest them early. I picked little gem and another small lettuce, and the leaves are so bitter. Like, how young do they have to be? Like, they're literally tiny, but they're very bitter. I don't like that taste, so I have to really harvest them earlier. I planted one cannabis just to test out the seed. That has already germinated in a couple of days on a heating mat. The Lacia peppers have been in the pods for over a week and they have not germinated. And I planted the cannabis after the Lacia pepper. So start your peppers because they're taking a long time. They take a long time to germinate anyways, but I used the heating mat this time and they still haven't germinated. So I'm going to start my bell peppers this weekend and my other peppers because it's going to take a minute to germinate. Um, Also, I noticed a problem. I was rewatching Broke's live from the Monday night. Somehow I missed the notification. I didn't get notified. Good morning, G Mama. I didn't get notified, so I didn't even know he was live. Um, and I watched the replay. So I do use alfalfa pellets. I love alfalfa pellets. I think it's a good amendment, a newer amendment I've been using for the last 2 years. I heard about it through YouTube, and it's also a food source for my chickens. It's 2 for 1 for me. Did not know that it attracted rodents. That probably explains a lot of the grow bags, because the grow bags I did use the alfalfa pellets in and all the chewing in the bags. So that's possibly a problem. So I'm gonna switch that up and probably make a liquid um, concoction with the alfalfa pellets and use that instead. 2 weeks, okay. Well, it's okay. This is crazy. Good morning, ARD. So I'm gonna change some stuff out. I have blood meal and bone meal. I've never used it. I used it last year as a test. I think it's a good amendment, but do I need it? No, not with all my chicken manure and rabbit manure from my coworker and other things that I have. I don't need it. If you use it, that's fine. It's up to you. But I don't want to attract any more predators, raccoons, the possums, and that kind of thing. But the alfalfa pellets are not much better. I'm going to show you guys. I did a video, but I didn't edit it yet. But it's a quick video upload. My overwintering of my crops in a particular area near the chicken coop. I opened the greenhouse because it was covered with snow for weeks. I'm like, okay, it's fine, covered with snow. When I went in there, it smelled like cabbage, which is a bit strange to smell that strong cabbagey smell in the middle of February. Well, I am missing about 3 or 4 things. They chewed the kohlrabies down to nothing. The mustard greens are still in there and they're struggling, but once it warms up, I think they'll pop back up. But they ate all of my overwintering. Sorry, I'm watching the chat. I'm just sitting there chit-chatting. Hold on. Rose saying the bell peppers germinated in a week on the heat mat. Yeah, I'm using the Jiffy Pete pellets. I'm going to start them today or tomorrow. I was trying to order also the bootstrap farmers on Amazon, but I found a supplier here. Either way, I won some money on something, so I'm going to put that money right to the bootstrap farmer. I don't want to have so many flimsy seed starting containers. It's just too much. So I want to invest in some good ones this year, which I am. So it's just either Amazon or I'm going to get them from this local supplier. They're not really local. They're about an hour and a half drive away. But good morning, Cheryl. Good morning, Martitza. I trying to figure that out. What's the cheaper option? But yeah, the mice, rat, whoever, living their best life under my greenhouse. So that's been a problem. I don't think for me it may not be worth overwintering plants if it's going to attract vermin, but at the same time they weren't in the chicken run eating the food this year either. You can't win. You just can't win. I use alfalfa pellets because they're good, but just wanted to tell the whole. No, I'm glad that you told us, because if it's going to attract rodents, then for me, it makes more sense for me to grind it up or something where it's not so appealing to have these big old pellets. My pellets are pretty large, like they're for horses, but the chickens usually eat them. Sometimes I don't want them, but I mix them with other things. And I tried to smash them down, but they're very sturdy. You have to wet them. If that's going to help me and mix it with other things like the chicken manure to kind of deter the rodents, then that's better for me. Once you grow food, the long and short, after all this babbling, the long and short of it is if you're growing food, you're going to attract vermin because it's been a cold winter. I thought that the greenhouse was secure and covered with snow and just like an igloo. Oh no, they were in there living their best life, chewing. Like the kohlrabi literally has one leaf sticking up, and then the bulb is all like gone. Like the food is gone. All the things that I thought I would start for spring that would already be in there to just kind of restart is gone. But they don't like mustard greens, I can tell you that. So if you want to overwinter those, go ahead. But anything in the cabbage family, the kohlrabis are gone. Next time I'm going to probably plant some onion, but then it wouldn't matter if I put onions in there either. Yeah, I'm not overwintering over there again. They're going to go in the garage where I can maybe watch them a little more closely. But once you have food, they're going to be coming for food. And you have to be constantly spraying um almost like pepper spray, not for them per se, but to deter the new ones from coming because they memorize the path. They can smell the path that another one took. So as long as you're spraying and disrupting the pathways that they can't figure out which way they went, that's the only thing you can do. And traps. Um okay, no problem. You're getting your oil changed because people think, are you driving? Speaking of oil, my oil light came on. I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm the worst for maintaining a vehicle. That's supposed to be a man's job, and since I don't have one, the car is suffering greatly, suffering. But yeah, once you have food, you're having animals, and that's the long and short of it. Even though alfalfa attracts some blood meal, but you're gonna have to set out traps. Now, I watched a video this week of another YouTuber. I'm not gonna call his name, but I didn't watch a video before. It's like an older video, but I happened to stumble upon it, and he had trapped an animal, and then he let it go. And I'm thinking, he's in the South. I thought you guys just pop, pop, poppy, pop, pop, pop. This ugly possum. Why are you letting it go free? I'm like, not on my watch. So just be advised, you're gonna have to deal with vermin. Now, depending on where you live, I live in a subdivision, so it's not really appealing. So I have to make sure I'm on top of it because I don't want the neighbors to say anything, even though the mice have been there before I was here because we have a field behind open thing behind us. So there's a lot of wild animals over here regardless. But I don't need to be attracting them and feeding them through the winter months. So that's not going to happen next time. I'm going to put the traps out now that I know all winter long and disrupt their behavior. Um Outdoors, I noticed for the first time, I probably but I noticed the timing this time. So from beginning of February, I'm talking it's dead winter, it's cold, there's no sign of spring. But if you've been paying attention, I've been hearing birds chirping at the crack of dawn. So I don't know if you guys have noticed that. I've been hearing birds chirping from about 6 a.m. Yeah, 6 a.m. And there's no light out here until about 7 o'clock now. But when the clock switches, it's going to start getting sunlight earlier and so forth. But the sun's setting later, so it's about 6:30 before the girls go to bed, the chickens. But the birds are chirping first thing in February. So spring is kind of already in the air. So the natural environment tells you what's happening. I'm seeing some other things happening. Squirrels are kind of coming out a little more. I hate them. Marking territory, checking out things, fixing their nests. The birds are looking for a place to nest and build a nest. So they're already kind of out looking what is the best spot to build their nest. And they're looking for their boo or their old boo to reconnect and lay some eggs. So robins, chickadees, I'm seeing a whole different list of birds that are around. You don't see them, but you can hear them chirping from 6 a.m. So definitely. And I watched a documentary maybe over a year ago now. I can't remember the name of it, but they were discussing that the actual chirping from the birds wakes up the plants. Now, obviously, they're not going to wake up now because they're still frozen, but it's like it sends an alarm in the universe, and they kind of, okay, it's soon time to wake up. And the snow is starting to melt right now, so I'm pretty sure I'm going to start seeing some things popping up. Maybe not flowers yet, but you might see my My signal for spring is usually the tulips and the irises kind of pop out early, and the hostas. They come up pretty early. So you'll start to see. So if you're waiting for it to be officially spring, you're behind schedule. It doesn't work that way. It's if you start to pay attention, things are waking up well before spring is even in the air. I'm telling you, the birds are. I'm like, will you shut up? I'm trying to sleep in. Oh no, they're chirping, carrying on, and the chickens too. They they're getting up like 10 minutes early each week. So now they're like, girl, they're making a lot of noise when I'm out there. Like, hurry up, you're like a half an hour late because they go by the sun. So if you're waiting to start some of your seeds, you better hurry up and get on board because you're going to be late. Unless you're going to buy seedlings, which is fine. I'm going to buy some seedlings as well. The pigeons, I'm telling you, they're out. Everything's out and about. So I'm like, okay, so February is the time. Like nature has been saying it, but I haven't been paying that much attention to the birds. I know usually in April I'm shooing them from building a nest on my house. So I got my sticks ready for that. They don't play. They like to have certain spots and I don't want them there because they make a mess on the actual brick and I don't want to be power washing every year after them. So I kind of moved them to the tree. What else happened? There's some good seeds I saw. G Mama posted something on Instagram. So now I'm looking at the seeds to find them. You people are terrible for the seed addiction. Terrible. We're having another meeting, an emergency meeting this week for Seed Hoarders Anonymous. And so there's some nice dwarf varieties I'm looking at. My indoor garden is popping. You'll see that on the February WIG update. I'm going to edit that tonight. I probably won't be finished, but hopefully it'll be up by Monday. So you can see the February update. Morning, Fifi. That the ones that I didn't think would do well are doing fantastic. And the things that I thought would be easy are the ones that are struggling. I don't know why. Morning, D Macro. Oh, happy. Yeah, I haven't seen you in a minute. I know. Something's going on too. Yeah, some people are saying when they're in YouTube, the chat won't pop up. It's just um something devices. I don't know if anyone knows. Let us know. Like some Apple devices, computer and the phone, it's like it won't open the chat, and the persons are there. Sometimes the persons are moderators, and they can't get in the chat. It's weird. Yeah, I saw them. I looked there, and they have good prices, but just the shipping and receiving. I think to ship to Canada, I would have to spend a certain amount of money to make it worth my while because they don't ship. I don't know why shipping is so expensive, to be honest. Buy 4 stamps and send me the seeds. It doesn't have to be no big USPS package, but they're sending it in a package and it's a whole thing. So I haven't bought them yet. They're in the shopping cart though. I blame G Mama for that. She's to blame for this purchase. If I actually make it though, because right now I'm on Amazing Store and I'm bought 2 orders that came last night. I also to gardening. If you are in a cold climate like I am, and you have challenges getting certain supplies in the spring, get them in the fall. And I usually do, but I did not get enough peat in the fall because I want to do like the herb garden, certain things in the larger cups. I did not have enough. I went to go buy some, and there's a store, Canadian Tire. I really am sick of them sometimes, this location. They lock their garden center. And if it's not garden season, you can't get into the garden center. But they have the merchandise. They're the only location that has of this chain of stores that has this particular big block of peat. They have peat in the store, but it's a bag. It's more expensive and it's not a hard brick. So it's not worth it. I want the other one. I had attitude from the worker. She was going to get somebody, and then didn't like her attitude, so I just left. I shouldn't have left though. I should have stayed because now I need the thing. Um, Even during gardening season, that location of that chain, it's like they lock the garden center at 7 p.m., but the store's open till 10 p.m. So why is the store open till 10 p.m. but the garden center is closed? I don't need your help to shop for plants. I can just go get what I need or the soil and just take it to the cash and pay and leave. Why are you controlling the access to the? I'm telling you, I was going to tell her off on the other day, and I said to her, "What are you guys doing?" Well, it's not gardening season. Yes, it is, Heffa. I said it's seed starting time. Anybody who gardens, it's seed starting time now. So anything to do with seed starting, peat, perlite, potting mix, all that stuff, heating mats, all that stuff should be available in the store. I shouldn't have to be asking someone to go ask someone to get the key to open the. I'm like, this is ridiculous. Do you want my money or not? Wasn't too impressed. So now I'm on Amazing Store because of their stupid behavior. I checked other locations. They don't have the big block of Pro Mix or the other one that's peat moss. Coconut core, same thing. I'm just like, I'm going to, anyways, I said, okay, note to self. In the fall, when they have their sales, I'm going to make sure I buy the big bundle and have it in the garage. Thank God I had a 5-gallon bucket left of the peat moss from a previous block, but I've been using some of it to mix with the sand for the dust bath for the chickens. Now I'm going to make sure I have enough for myself because I'm literally going to karate chop somebody in the neck just to get something, just to start seeds. Because I really want to use the peat and not the other one that I had, because the other one I have to boil with hot water because there's gnat eggs in it. And I know there's gnats because there's nothing but gnats last seed starting. Not a lot, but there was more than I wanted to. So I'm going to try to do peat with the perlite and then up pot them as needed. Oh, the service was so bad. And she wasn't rude. She was beyond rude. She was like the passive, dismissive rude. Like, yeah, whatever. Okay, well, whatever. And start walking off. I'm like, you little bit. I was like, the old me was like, oh, okay, calm down. We're in public. We're in public. We're older. We're more mature. We're too cute to go to jail. And I had to and grab my own arm and say, let's go. Let's leave the store. Now it's giving me more work to find what I need, but I was gonna chop her in the head. I'm like, you little. I have coconut coir. Part of my problem is my garage needs organizing because I can't find it, and I know I have a couple of block bricks from the Dollar Tree that you add water to. Can't find it. Well, I could, but it's too cold for me to be out there right now. Probably in another week or two, it'll be tolerable to be in the garage in the cold and start sorting through stuff. But yeah, so please don't do what I did. Have what you need in the fall. If you're in a warm climate, you don't care because they have garden season all year round. They're like throwing it at you. Here, take it. Over here, they're like policing it. I'm a little Now, if you go to other stores, maybe it's easier, but I don't live in the suburban. I live in the city, so maybe if I go an hour away. Now, I was watching, well, not watching. It was Fifi did a post talking about, well, a video clip short, but it was a post about the supply. So she ordered her birds, her turkeys, and something else early. And as of now, they're doing no more new orders. So I checked my company. I didn't order chickens. I was debating, but now I'm like, I need to order some chickens. So what I'm going to do is, they're not going to have as much space as they used to. Unfortunately, they're going to be infighting, but at this point, I need more eggs. Eggs are becoming a hot commodity. I can be like an egg dealer, literally, in the corner, selling eggs. I don't know if you saw in the news, in the US news, the bodegas are selling eggs single and in threes, in little bags of 3. It's gotten rough when people can only buy 3 eggs. Like, this is not a joke. This is a serious. I'm laughing, but it's serious. It's gotten that bad. So when Fifi posted that, they can't keep up with the demand because I guess all the commercial people need chicks. So the people who didn't place their orders, your smaller urban farmers and homesteaders, you're not going to get service. They're not taking any more new orders. She has to go find somewhere else to buy her meat birds from. So people who don't grow and raise their meat, they don't even have any consciousness of this. It makes like, what? Who? Huh? Yeah, there's some. Yes, and a bag of 3. So you have a little Ziploc or baggie, and you have 3 eggs in there, and I've never in my life, maybe in the Caribbean, but even then you buy a carton of eggs. You don't buy, you buy usually a flat of 30. Never mind. It's getting rough everywhere. It's rough. I saw somebody in Jamaica one's a Canadian and one's an American. They're 2 different channels, but they're large channels and they focus on Jamaican content. And one of the guys, he's there going to school, doing some kind of career change. Good morning, Miss Fee. Some kind of career change. But a carton of eggs, 30, was equivalent to almost $15, $16. That's a lot of money for a carton of eggs. It was never that high before. So now he's saying he's gonna get chickens. He could easily have chickens, but he was focusing on pigeons. I don't know who wants pigeons. Anyways, he was doing that. I worked in retail. The reason that it's locked in cold weather locations, they are not fully staffed. Therefore, they can't watch the thieves. Ain't nobody stealing Pete. I can guarantee you, ain't nobody stealing no Pete. No one's. They need to lock up the fertilizer and that's locked up behind a glass and the Roundup and the power tools. Yeah, pack of three. I'm telling you, pack of three. Um, 3 eggs ain't enough for me. It ain't enough for you, but I guess if you're having some hash browns or you're making it stretch, you can make it stretch. And this is the issue that the guy at the bodega was saying, which was interesting. But let me just keep up with the chat first. I'm still trying to source meat birds and quail. Have to drive to New Hampshire. What? Oh my goodness. I haven't looked for quail. I know I can order quail. I can order quail eggs from Meyershire. They have a division in Canada. So I have no problem getting the eggs. My only issue is I haven't gone to that PV Mart, which is they're all closing down at the end of April. So I heard. I'm trying to get there from before. I haven't got there yet. Plans got messed up. To at least there's a place in Orangeville, which is like an hour and a half away, and another place going to Niagara Falls. They have a couple of offices there to see if they have incubators. If I can get some things cheap, I'm going to get a couple of incubators and then I'll order the eggs. And I'm looking for some metal rabbit cages to kind of put them in the garage for now until I can either get a hutch built or build it myself or buy the metal one. But they're coming. But that's strange. This is getting out of hand. Now the reason three eggs is $3. Yeah, it doesn't make, and this is what people don't understand because even when I saw the Jamaican content creator, so depending on where you're from, everyone has different experiences. I can tell you what's going on in Jamaica from their video and even in the States. But what people forget to understand is there's three things happening. You don't want to overspend. So you have $20, $40, $50, but you have to come home with a little bit of everything. You can't just waste a bulk of the money on a carton of eggs and this, because you have to get meat, you need eggs, maybe need some rice, and even rice is being broken down into smaller packs. So it's like, but you're spending more in the long run. We all know that, but when you're so impoverished and you're such like in dire straits, you'd rather have what you need and cook it, and when it runs out, you try to get more. But you're spending a lot more, and this is the cycle. This is how they make their money, and they keep you impoverished. That's why people and families are understanding the power of group economics, even when it comes to grocery shopping. There are groups of people, even from before these financial strains, were shopping in groups. They buy a big, huge $100 bag of rice, the huge commercial sizes. And I guess they split it up equally, and each family or group person gets their share. They buy large amounts of beans and so on and so forth. They put their money together. But when everybody's shopping individually, you're never going to get ahead. You're always going to be behind. This is how it works. And the stores will accommodate you and make 3 eggs and sell you 1 egg and sell you, but they're making more money in the long run. They are. They're not going to tell you, but if you start doing the math yourself, they're making more money. So you need to work together with people. And that's what people are doing. Do I need a big old 25 kilogram bag of beans? I don't. But if I say, hey, you guys want to go in and split it? Yep, we'll go in and split it, especially if it's something that people use. There's different types of rice. Hey, you want some back, and you go in together and you split it up. And it's not hard to get a scale and some Ziploc bags, and you weigh it out and you portion it out, and everybody gets their share. That's how it used to be. They used to have canning sessions in my neighborhood where all the Italians would come together and they would can all the tomatoes. They would buy tomatoes from the farmer's market in the huge bushels and just in the garage with cooktops and stuff, making sauce, tomato paste, ketchup for like Saturday, Sunday, all day, Saturday, Sunday. And they had enough to last them for the whole next year. That's how it was. Yeah, storage options. But I got me some 5-gallon buckets already, and I have me a vacuum sealer now, and bay leaves and cloves. And we all know the old time ways to store stuff. Some of us. and I have my stuff. And even though rice, quote unquote, goes rancid, I haven't had a problem. Rice has gone, well, it's not rancid because it gets the oils on it. But if you wash the rice thoroughly and properly, I haven't had any issue of the rice not being edible. I haven't had no issues at all. It's That's just what I've found here, and it's always an underground market. So just connect to the underground market. Yeah, customer service is a whole problem. Like, people are gonna get karate chopped, but yeah. Um, you need storage options. And you'd be surprised. All those old pickle jars, those glass jars, if you keep them, you can store. I I went under my cupboard the other day. It's hard to get under that cupboard, mind you. You have to like, but there's still rice under there. I'm trying to go and dig the stuff out and use that stuff first and put the new stuff and swap things out. But there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of food. Now, the one thing I noticed from the video I saw in Jamaica, it doesn't really apply here, but it's that's how you have to learn the cultures. One second, let me see the chat. I'm not buying it, period. Yeah, you're not buying it. I'm not buying it, but we have options. Some of these people don't have no options. And they're being milked for more money, but that's just the system that we're in. I'm not buying it either. Groceries are very expensive, and people on fixed incomes are feeling it more. But in Jamaica, I noticed something because they have a lot of things that are imported. So the guy was saying a case of water, a 24, those 500 milliliter cases of water that we get here for like $2, a buck, $3 the most, if you want to buy the nicer waters. It was equivalent to about $10 per case and probably more. So he found over there it's cheaper to buy. I'm talking dirt cheap. I'll get you the numbers for next time. To buy the 5-gallon drums and get the pump from Amazing Store, and you pump the water out manually and put them in the bottles yourself, your own glass or metal bottle yourself. And then to refill the big jug was like equivalent to like $3 Canadian or US, $3 US. That's much more affordable. But the problem is most people who are shopping don't have a vehicle and they're walking and carrying this stuff. I remember one year I had to go and carry on a trolley my groceries up the hill, and we live up a hill, and it's not smooth, it's rocky, and you're pulling this trolley and your whole arm is shaking and baking because it's a rough, there's no paved nothing. And by the time you get to the house, you're so tired. And if you don't have a car or a ride or someone to carry it, it's very difficult to carry this big stuff around. And he has a vehicle. So that's why people again end up spending more because they don't have the means to get from point A to point B. Never mind, it's difficult. So the imports over there are very expensive. The eggs over there, I don't know why the eggs are expensive. I was shocked because there's no problem getting eggs in Jamaica, but he's going to get his own chickens. Um, I don't, there's one lady I know who has a whole hatchery and whole, like, she does chickens on a mass scale. I don't know why it's so expensive. I'm going to have to figure that out and ask because there's no no issues I've heard over there. There's no problem. There's plenty of birds. I don't know what the price difference is. It's a local product, but something not making sense. But everything is costing money. There's no way. I went to the store. I couldn't believe some of the prices. I don't know how people back in the day they would stop senior citizens from buying cat food and dog food unless they had a pet because they were eating the food themselves because it was cheaper. That's what it's probably coming to again. Then the tariffs. We don't even talk about the damn tariffs, but the tariffs have made things even worse. But we got to do. Retaliatory methods have to be used when someone's bullying other people around. So we're all paying the price for the tariffs right now. But the prices in retail stores are always going to be higher. I've been shopping around for over a year, over maybe 2 years with cash and carries and wholesalers. And yes, you pay a lot up front because you're buying such a big quantity, but it's cheaper. So right now I'm saving up for powdered milk. They have a milk product there. It's whole milk, not skim milk powder. And the recipes that I use for the bread machine, it uses milk powder. I'm going to be getting a big, I'm talking it's a 50, if it's not 50 pounds, it's 100 pounds. I'm going to have to get a couple more buckets. And I'm probably going to vacuum seal them in portions and put them away. But that's what I'm looking for. There's no point. One smaller bag of powdered milk was over $15 last I checked a month ago. And that used to be under $10 for powdered milk. I don't know what's going on with these prices, but no. So I'm going to either be splitting it with somebody else so I know who bakes, or I'll just use it all myself and use it in my recipes. But that's what I'm looking for. It doesn't make sense any other way. Let me see here. Let me just catch up with the chat here. Gigi Mama saying she's been enjoying the international grocery store that I found. I get to try things I like the international store. And they got more reasonable prices, and you get larger quantities, and they have more clearance items as well too. The ones that I have been astonished me are the women who carry huge clay jars of water on top of their heads. I saw one lady carrying stuff on her head, her baby on her back, and stuff all up in her arms. I could never carry all that. I'm telling you that right now. And I have a car. Virginia's yelling at someone about the about customer service. No, those are U.S. prices, D-Mac. I think it was U.S. That yeah, because he was doing U.S. and Canadian. Inflation is a big problem. The other lady in Jamaica, she did a video. She's in the States now, but she went back to Jamaica. I think she's on mat leave and she's spending some time over there. But she did a shopping spree, let's say in 2020, and showed all the prices of these 3 stores. And she did it again in 2025. And in Jamaican dollars, everything has gone up. She bought the same items in 2020 as she bought now. Those same items cost about $1,000 Jamaican more, which is about $10 Canadian and US, give or take. So those same items cost $10 more. The income hasn't gone up, and most of their items are imported. I really don't know what's going to happen with these Caribbean islands. They're going to have to have more in-house production, because this is not going to work. And a lot of the food in Jamaica, which I always said I didn't like, was canned food. Everything's in a tin. The meat's fresh meat, but the meat's in a tin. The milk is not fresh milk. I've never seen fresh milk. It's always been in a carton. I don't know what that is, but I don't drink that. So butter is not butter. If you know what chiffon, that ain't no butter or margarine. It's some kind of shelf-stable orange glob that you spread on your bread. I know. Peanut butter, which we get here and in the US, peanut butter is like $3, $5, depending on if it's a big jug, small jug, if it's organic and natural and all these fancy stuff. But pretty much you can get a big jug of peanut butter at Costco, Sam's, any store for under $10, give or take of the size. The teeniest, smallest jar of peanut butter is about $10 in Jamaica. It don't make no sense. It costs a lot to live in Jamaica, which is why a lot of people who have money, who are Jamaicans, are not always going back there to retire. They're going to other islands. You get a lot more for your dollar elsewhere than in Jamaica. I don't know why. There's corruption in every government, but it's very expensive to eat. Yeah, your dollar's worth more than theirs, but when you start to see how much you're costing, hey, good morning, hands in the dirt, how much it's costing you to buy groceries, it's becoming not worth living there, to be honest, unless you're going to grow a lot of your own food, which a lot of the people who are going back, return residences, and they're going back and they're doing a lot of hydroponics that's going on in Jamaica. Don't get it twisted. There's a lot of outdoor aquaponics and hydroponics being sold. People are building tower gardens. There's collaborations across the globe, and they're going and creating farms in Jamaica. They're better use on water. They can grow more food that's not readily available in Jamaica, and they can service their own supply of hotels and restaurants. So a lot of people who have money are going back and growing their own leafy greens, their own stuff in their backyards to sustain themselves because it's costing too much. Their own chickens and even a cow or a goat or two, because it's that expensive. It's better off you grow it yourself. Um, yeah. Mexico and Canada. Yeah, these are tumultuous times. Let me just see here. I have a bread machine from way back. Um, from way back. The newer machines are better because the newer machines, I think, have settings for like sourdough and other settings that I didn't have when I got my machine way back. So I might invest in a new one eventually, but I think the bread machine is good because you can use it for jam. Didn't realize that. And you can use it for just making your pizza dough and then you just bake it somewhere else. You don't have to bake it in the bread machine. And sweet settings and other soft bread settings. Mine doesn't have all those settings. I don't have a brand. Mine was, I think it was a Panasonic or a Black and Decker, but those two brands have newer versions that are much better. Mine is like over 20 years. Mine's old. Mine, all the labeling is faded off. But I like the bread machine. Um, it has a timer that you can go to bed and set it to go on at a certain time to start kneading the dough. So when you wake up, you have fresh bread that's already finished made. I used to do that all the time. Every morning, we would pretty much wake up with a fresh bread, and that bread would be gone. We couldn't keep bread in the house. It was so good. And put the butter on the hot bread. Telling you. And to be honest, in those days, we weren't as big. We were smaller and we were eating more bread, but we were baking it ourselves. So it goes to tell you, whatever's in this new bread is not doing us any good. We're swollen all the time. Um, Let me see here. Yeah, because Virginia's on a rampage with its customer service. Yeah, services. A lot of these service people are children. Like they're like high school, college kids working at these services to get through school, and then they're yelled at every day, and they're treated like crap on a regular. So I can see both sides, but I'm just trying to spend my money and buy some dirt, like buy some peat. Like, what's so hard about buying peat moss? Like, I'm not buying anything illegal. I just want to grow some seeds. Like, why is it so challenging? But I understand both sides because customers are not very nice. And I wasn't nice, but I wasn't bad either. I was like, I want my product. Come on. So that's the story there. The tariffs are rough. I stopped watching. Well, I didn't stop, but your leader again. I don't have any sides per se, but when someone is so damn rude, like he's rude. We had a work group meeting at work, and people had to spend the first 10 minutes talking about how rude the man is to get it off their chest. About calling our prime minister governor. You know what? People say a lot of crap, but when they get drop kicked, they have nothing to say then. I'm not condoning violence, but if you keep talking smack. So we went to work and we had a big meeting because, the tariffs affect what we do. And, what's Brian brought in, this is what we got to do, and blah, blah, blah. Then all of a sudden, they're being paused. I'm like, what do you mean pause? What are you talking about pause? Again, he's going to pause. We ain't pausing nothing over here. I'm telling you that right now. We ain't pausing. We didn't pause nothing. You don't start, light a match and say, oh, we changed my mind. No, 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 no. It's on like Donkey Kong. We didn't pause nothing. Oh, he's pausing things that are under Kuzma or UMS, whatever you guys call it. Kuzma. He's pausing those things. Then people started crunching the numbers. That has no bearing and no meaning on nothing. To be honest, when they crunched the numbers, it had no. So do your own research. Had no bearing and no meaning. And every minute the man's signing orders. How about making up your mind in the first place and having a clear mindset, weighing all the pros and cons before you wage war on people? Because once you wage war on people, you cannot control how they're going to react. So we ain't pausing nothing. Our premier, who just got voted in again because there was just an election, and this is all happening during our election time, so it's very like unstable. Our premier now, he got reelected, so he was already dealing with this from before, and now he's coming in hot. The man clear off all of the US stuff off of the LCBO, the liquor and alcohol stores. You cannot get no California nothing, no wine, no champagne, no nothing. He just remove like take them off the shelves. We're in war. We all in. Like he's all in. I was like, this man is really not playing around. He wants everything off the shelves. When the mind was changed and oh this too bad. He's like too bad. You're not playing games and like, oh no, this, okay, no that. Oh no, now it's this. Oh now it's that. Oh no. You're not playing with people over here. They are price gouging in Florida now. I bought some bananas yesterday. Hold on. Let me put this so I can still see it. I thought they were 35 cents a pound. Looked at the receipt and they were each. You guys, that doesn't make no sense. But you got to read the prices, guys, because I've been, and there are some stores I was saying I don't like going to certain stores because the stores don't list the prices. I don't like to go to the cash to find out how much something costs and then say, oh, so, and they're like, and you have to feel shame, the walk of shame going back and putting it back. I want to see the prices on the shelf so that I can calculate in myself, okay, I can afford this, I can afford that. And I kind of pick up what I know I can get, and then I cash out. I don't want to be like, oh, this is too much. But that's what they're doing. I'm like, I have to ask the man, what's the price on this? What's the price on that? Oh. I'm like, can't you guys put some signs up? And then that just turned me off at the whole shopping experience. I said, I'm not coming back here ever again in my life. This store was just too chugga. So I went somewhere else. But the prices are higher, but some of the prices are thieving because they're getting these things wholesale. Now, some things with the tariffs, yeah, they're going up, but not everything is a tariff issue. Some things are coming from South America, Chile, South Africa. Some of our fruits come from there. There's really no tariffs involved. So I don't know where they're getting this stuff from. And bananas don't come from, well, for us, Mexico and some other things. That's not tariffable either. So I don't know why they're tariffing them. Maybe it's tariffs in Florida. That's probably what it is. I don't know where the bananas are coming from. It was more expensive to buy per pound. Was not happy. Cabbage is not cheap over here, especially red cabbage. You want the red one? So it's costing a lot. And everybody, as we all notice in the gardening community, oh, I need to grow some food. And they're all scrambling around trying to get, help me with food. I told everybody from a long time. I'm going to tell you already. I told everybody in proper English. Don't mind helping people. But there's going to come a time when you're just too busy because you got to take care of your own. You got to expand your own garden. Hey, Food Forest, you got to expand your own. Right now, I'm looking for fruit trees. Anywhere I can get fruit trees. I think all of us are buying between me, Broke Farmer, Odom Homestead. I saw even So Good Gardener got some new trees. Gee, Mama, everyone's just we're getting trees. We don't have time to be talking about what's going on over there. We're finding trees. We're propagating trees. We're getting rooting home on. We're just, David Corey was doing a whole bunch of fig trees with the honey and whatever. Everybody's getting their tree game and their orchards double and triple the size. We ain't playing around right now. So I don't know why people waited. It's been right there in plain sight. Oh, now you want to grow lettuce. Listen, there's enough YouTube videos on lettuce. So go on YouTube. I can send you a video how to grow lettuce. I don't have the time or the patience for some of these conversations. People, I'll send you the stuff. I send people links, send people products, send people YouTube and Instagram clips. People building their own units and stuff. So you guys can go there. It's not hard to do and figure it out. But me, I'm not tutoring. No, tutoring time is over. Tutelage is over right now. I got to expand and I got to find things. And some of the trees need a pollinator. Some trees need a mate. I found the kiwi tree over here in New Brunswick. The male is out of stock, but I can probably buy the female tree. And you need one male kiwi plant for every 9 females. So as long as I get one male, I can have up to 9 female trees. And those are cold tolerant kiwis. We've taken this seriously because we need to have more fruit and more vegetables. Let me just catch up with this chat because I've been talking again. Let me see here. You have to be willing to. Oh, they're talking about the customer service back and forth. It's very frustrating. I have to go out. Before I go out, I have to make sure I'm well fed and hydrated because if you're not in a good mood, it could go left real quick. left real quick. I think it was since 2021, the world has been a fast track towards the time when the Bible says it'll cost you a day. Yes, I was talking about that scripture with somebody because I never understood it when I was younger, but now I'm like, it's making more sense. But we haven't gotten there yet, but it's going there. I will, oh, my stomach's grumbling. I will ask you the price of in a heartbeat. If I don't like it, I'm getting there, Virginia. I'm like, there's no shame in my game. I'm like, put it back, take it back. Too expensive. I don't want it. Berry bushes. Oh yeah, I think you grow rose. I see you there. Yeah, you bought some more bushes. I got some last season on clearance. I gotta up pot them. I did some more fig cuttings on my fig tree. I have one fig tree in the garage. When I went in there to get some more chicken feed, it was dry. I think it's alive, but it's very dry. So I'm gonna have to go into the garage today and kind of maneuver in there and water all those plants. I think they're okay. It was dormant anyways. And that tree I'm gonna have to propagate as well. I need to get as many trees as I can to make sure that I have multiples because if one gets, doesn't do well, I have a backup plan. I have a plum tree that somebody gave me. I got to propagate that plum tree as well. I need at least 2 or 3. So watch people's videos, but people who are coming, oh, I need help. I need to grow food. You've been talking, and you haven't done anything. I'm learning as I'm older who to not waste time with. If that makes like I'm not wasting time on you. If you're still yapping and I haven't seen any actionable things to move towards anything, we're not having any more conversations. I'm not wasting time hearing you talk about because you're just talking. You're just adding, air to just air, just gas flowing. It's nothing. It doesn't. It's invisible. You can't see it. It doesn't do anything. It's just dead. It's nothing. Oh, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. Oh, blah blah. You haven't done it yet. Oh, I don't have a green thumb. I'm not into green. You don't have to have a green thumb to grow food. You eat, don't you? What does your thumb have to do with anything? Like, please. Do anyone have an Aldi's chain store? This is the cheapest store I've seen. We used to have Aldi's here back in the day and they left. I don't know if they're coming back. But they have went up double in the past year. I don't know. This is good. Some people are shopping out of state. Yeah, trees have a gender. Some trees have a gender. Which is why hangry. Yeah, don't go shopping when you're hangry. Some people are shopping out of state when they live near enough to another state. They are actually shopping and like buying a lot of stuff and then driving back to their house because it's cheaper to buy some things in other areas. Yeah, trees have a gender. Some trees have a gender. Some trees just need a sister or another apple to pollinate each other. But that's why America and Canada too, all the trees that are in public neighborhoods are usually, I think they're usually males, right? And that's why there's so much pollen and so many allergies nowadays because they don't have male and females. They just have males because they don't want to have things growing and producing because free food is illegal now, I guess. Free food is illegal. Hazard is in Texas. I think Texas has a lot of stores. Even they have those Asian stores too. So it depends where you live. You're putting it outside this season, the kiwi. I found it here. I know Broke Farmer mentioned a kiwi a long time ago, a cold tolerant kiwi. I don't know if it's the same one I found, but I found one. The shipping isn't cheap, but at this point, you got to do what you got to do because I can't find those trees anywhere. Those are hard to find trees. Teaching. Oh, but I listen to you, Miss V. I listen to your videos. I watch them and I apply some things. I haven't applied everything because I'm just scrambling around, but I'm going to do it. But dead people who don't do nothing at all, oh, blah, blah. Price, the cashier is telling me that it's not the price. Once I said, hold on. Oh yeah, when it scans wrong or they say it's this person's cheaper, they gotta give it to you free. Get your seeds together, guys. We've been talking for the last few weeks about beginner tips and just fundamentals. You don't need to spend a lot of money. You don't. I'm not a beginner, so I'm spending more on certain things and just because I'm interested in this and I like to have variety and different types of plants. But in terms of just growing food, it's not necessary. Dollarama, Dollar Tree, Dollar General, and Menards for you in the States have a lot of seeds. Your feed stores have a lot of seeds. You can find things for cheap. When you go to the grocery store, you can cut out the seeds, out your tomatoes, out your eggplant, out whatever. I've taken food and taken the seeds out, pumpkin squash, and planted from there. You don't have to go and buy the seeds. Like if you're really, a hustler and a go-getter, you don't need to spend enough money on nothing. You don't need to even buy soil. You can go get dirt from all kind of places or just as long as it's legal. But I've done some things that, whatever. You do what you gotta do. Trying to get more fruit trees. I'm planting a lot more paste tomatoes first year. Almost making a full year on canning. I have started canning last year, pressure canning that is. I was scared. I did it. And this year, I'm not going to grow everything because I just don't want the hassle this year because I'm working on other things. And I have enough that I can grow and feed myself. So I'm not really looking to expand too much. But I am going to be purchasing from farmers markets and those places in bulk and having canning sessions. So right now, I'm going to try to can meat for the first time. So once I go to the store, I'm going to buy a whole bunch of ground beef and just can ground beef or ground chicken and just have some other things on hand. I canned greens like collards and um, cabbages and stuff like that, like the leafy greens. I have cans of that ready. So I'm just going to add some meat. I'm going to can some rice. I know rice is not allowed to be canned because it's not in any of the books. So it's like a rebel canning. But I see other people rebel canning and they're feeding their family with it. So if your family hasn't gotten sick, then I'm going to trust that recipe. So I will be trying to can rice. And that's a good thing to can in theory because if things go left and water isn't getting access to clean water is an issue, then your rice is already cooked. You don't have to add water. It's already edible. All you got to do is warm it up. Good morning, Nikki. So I'm going to be looking into that. I'm going to be trying some more recipes from the canning book, jams and chutneys and so forth. So that will require me buying things in bulk, but I'm not going to grow some of those berries and some of those things that's in the recipe. I don't have any interest in that. Anything that I grow, I'm going to eat. And if I need to make things for canning, I'm going to buy them. Good morning, TLC. I'm not going to do all that. And finding places where you can get food. The next thing I'm going to be working on is foraging. I know Food Forest, he can find food anywhere. He's been planting in the food forest and doing a permaculture thing that there's food everywhere. It's not defined in a grid pattern in his backyard. The whole area is full of food. That's what I'm going to be focusing on. But I was talking about chickens earlier. I'm going to be getting some more birds. The price has gone up for a ready to lay bird. I don't have any interest right now on doing chicks. The only chicks that I will do are quail chicks because they're ready to go in 7 weeks. I don't want no chicks having to feed for 6 months or 5 months. To me, right now, that's not worth my energy. Could I do it if I had to? Probably. I'm a quick learner, but I don't need to do it. I'll buy ready to lay birds. They're more expensive. The spring session is sold out for most of the varieties, especially the ones that are unique. There's another store that I've never been to. It's out of the way, but that's another store that I found that has the quail feed. They are the only ones that have the Isa Browns, which is strange because they use the same hatchery as the other store. So I don't know. So it's either going to be Isa Browns, the olive eggers. I think the olive eggers lay about over 270 eggs a year, estimating, or the same red sex links that are beasts when it comes to laying eggs. If you are able to have chickens, I'm not talking about illegally or HOA, but you can have chickens, or you're in an area where people have chickens and you can buy their eggs, then do that. I don't know why we buy things from the store anyways when we can get them like from each other or locally or from yourself. If you're interested, I know between Fifi's Urban Homestead, Jamaica, they do a lot of videos on showing you how to take care of chickens and hatching eggs. I think Black's Tropical has a lot of videos on her channel about hatching between quail and eggs, and she does rabbits. So you can find information and learn how to do things. All the information I learned was from the internet, was from YouTube, from other YouTubers, and I got chickens and I've been okay. I haven't had any serious problems, anything I can ask them, and they've guided me through the process. There's been no severe issues. So it's not as bad as you think, and it's not a scary thing. Some people, and even GT Jr. got chickens as well, and he's in Alaska. So take the plunge. You might like it, and they're quite fun pets to have. They have a lot of personality. Um, does anyone know a city or a town, a house? Sorry, do anyone know if the city tear down a house and fill the hole with dirt? How long can you plant in it? I don't know. But did the city give you a I'm in a different country, but did the city give you a not a soil test, but a yeah, like the checks for toxicity and stuff like that? Did they do a test? I ain't planting in none of that unless you're giving me a forgot the word. It's not a soil test, but it's a soil test. Testing for toxins and stuff. Because if the house was there, that means their sewer lines were there and certain things were there. So I don't know. Check that out. But I don't know what you're asking me, I don't know. But make sure that they check that out first before you start doing that. When you can the ground beef, you have to try both ways to see if you like it. Oh, you mean raw? Hold on, did I miss a? You talking about raw packing versus cooking it first? Rice and beans are filling. Yep, I'm just going backwards to see what I missed. There's a hardy kiwi, but you need to have them off the ground, like climbing on a rock or climb up a tree. A natural arbor. Okay. When I get them, I'll ask more questions, but right now I'm shopping around. Male and female. Yeah, I didn't know male and female has kiwis, or at least I saw it. Yeah. Food forest permaculture has. Oh, they're not cheap. They weren't too bad here. The price was, but the shipping was, my goodness. Ohio. See, I'm wondering if I should drive over and buy stuff in the States because bringing them back, they might give me a hard time. They might give me a hard time unless the store that I buy them at gives some kind of paper that shows that they're not infested with bugs. I don't know. There's a lot of rules. Um, I gotta figure that out. 'Cause I know Rose in Ohio, and that's not a hot climate, so they can get kiwis there. Must find a kiwi here, closer to home. I'm finding some more figs here too. There's some figs that there's two kind of figs that I don't have that I saw somebody in Ontario have that are in the ground. He actually wraps them with bubble wrap and cardboard every winter to keep them all insulated and a tarp and he has them in the ground. I ain't doing all that right now unless I'm in my final home, but he got figs here. Okay. Um scrolling down. Find your berries. Blackberries grow near you somewhere. Blueberries like old fire areas. Raspberries grow well along power lines. Get forage books and practice. I'm going to because I ain't starving for nobody. Okay, so she's saying, yes, there are different textures depending on how you can it. Okay. Well, I'm going to be practicing now because that's exactly the point. People talk about canning, and canning is great. And I know some people have mentioned that they don't like the taste and the texture of canned food. So they're not really a fan, and that's I agree. It's more for having food on hand when things go left or the prices of food are so expensive. So I got to test out the recipes now to see if I even like it, the texture. If I don't like it, can I still make it work in some form, like a chili or something? I don't know. We got to figure it out now before it gets rough. Maybe not if the house was old, but potentially use lead paint. Yeah, it's around the same line. Like you're gonna have to check this. The city's gonna have to do a toxicity test and some other tests, which I can't remember the name, because if there's toxins in it, first of all, it's unusable pretty much, and you need to know that beforehand. I need to up my berry bushes, but don't want to deal with the potential allergies since my daughter just became allergic. She's allergic to blueberries? Not sure. Never heard of that. I know people have strawberry allergies, but never heard blueberries. A few goats will give you milk. Oh, you Food Force always has the same standard answer, and it's relevant. He tells us the formula: goats, some plants, and some chickens. Rhode Island, exactly. They're good for laying eggs and for eating. Sprouts, I'm telling you, that's the formula. I've been growing sprouts the last month for the chickens, and I do eat some of the sprouts is mung beans. Mung beans from the store. You don't have to buy sprouting beans. You can go to the cheap section and buy mung beans or whatever these beans, lentils, full, not cut, but the full lentils, and they can sprout them. If your food's not sprouting, if your beans aren't sprouting, what is on them and we're eating it that's stopping them from sprouting? Like, you need to ask yourself that question. If the beans that you buy cannot sprout, cannot be planted and growing food, why are we eating those beans? Something, there's a coating on that, they spray them with that. I don't want that. So it's good to test out your beans anyways, just to see that they can sprout, to kind of know that they're viable. They're it's living food. It's not just a dead sprayed thing with some kind of sprout inhibitor on it. I like goats. I've been watching goats lately, but I don't have room for them. But I can get more chickens. I think the law requires here for all citrus to be sprayed before they can sell them to prevent bugs and diseases. The plants come with tags that say something something. Yeah, I need to have a paper to take over the if I'm going to bring them over the border. Hey, I'm PIA. I had to figure that out. Um, because that's why there's all these rules, which is fine, but it makes it hard to bring plants over. Now, if it's a bare root plant, that's probably going to be easier because there's no soil. Because the problem usually is the soil. If I could find someone who can do that, I can just go pick up a whole bunch of stuff at once, get it over with, get 5, 10 trees, and then just bring them over, and then plant them here myself. Big that. The house is burnt up. To me, it looked like a confinement field. Yeah, check with the city. They're gonna have to do a toxicity statement test, and if the plumbing and all the lines are still there, they're all underneath the ground still, then it's still there. And have they been capped off? Because all that stuff is just, yeah. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but you're gonna have to really look into it because they're not gonna protect your interests. They're gonna protect themselves. And if you want to grow food on there, but then again, there's people who grow food on lots that are probably hazardous, but they don't plant in the ground. There's this guy, I don't remember his name. I don't remember where it was either California or somewhere, one of those southern warmer states. And he had these look like socks, like these baggy things that he filled with soil, and he grew in these like tubular thingies, and nothing was actually in the ground. So when he had to relocate because the land was no longer being allowed to be leased, you kind of just roll them up and you can take them anywhere else. But he was planting on these city lots, but he wasn't digging in the ground. So that's another option as well. I can't remember what it was called. If I see it, I'll post it on my community tab. But there's other ways to grow. We have to just open our minds to other possibilities, because not every place you can dig into the ground. You don't know what's in that ground. You can grow on top of it and put a barrier to protect, but there's other ways to grow and use that space for ample growing until you know if the soil or the land is safe. Sometimes you got to plant certain cover crops on the land to take out the toxins and take out the chemicals. There are certain crops that do that. Don't ask me which ones. You're going to have to find, but I know there are that can take out the toxins and then it converts it to something else. And those crops are still edible, but you can chop and drop and put it back into the ground to feed the soil. But it takes knowledge and learning to how to detoxify the land. Is it worth it? It depends on your situation. If you have land in your family, then yeah. If you're buying land, I would say no, I'm not spending money to buy a problem. But it all depends on the situation. But there are people who've had to detoxify their land, their beds, through external factors, through previous use on the land and chemical plants and whatever. And it's taken a while, but they've done it. So if you're up for the challenge, then go right ahead. Most citrus can be grown from seed. 1 second here. So you don't have to wait for the citrus to mature. You can graft a mature citrus to an immature. Avocado works like this as well. Air laying. So I would still have to have at least one tree already, right? One tree. Avocados. There's a couple of trees. I have to remember. I don't know if it was one of Broke's Live or somebody. They were going through trees that were cold tolerant. And I know the kiwi was one of them, but there's some other trees. And I know there's like pawpaws, there's some cold tolerant persimmons, and these trees aren't cheap. So propagating is, for those of us who are expanding our orchards, our food forest, let's call it, propagation is going to be key. There's a couple of people I watch in Florida, and some of their trees didn't make it. And these are tropical trees. There's some disease and some bug didn't make it. So I know they propagate the trees, so they have some other ones coming up behind. But there's a lot of problems with some of the trees. I know that beetle is a problem. Um, I'm gonna have to spray some of my trees because I think that's why I didn't get any fruit. Plus the squirrels, I hate them. But I think there's a bug in these trees, and I think it was, forgot who it was, but there's bugs burrowing into the stems and into the tree, burrowing and eating it from the inside. So I'm gonna have to spend some more time learning how to protect the tree because these bugs aren't playing around. Microbes make the moist. Hold on. Oh yeah, food forest is very knowledgeable. Microbes make most toxins inert, so make homes for microbes like leaves, biochar, wood chips, etc. There's a way to clean the land. We just gotta practice it. Hey, good morning, David Corey. We need to practice what we're preaching. A lot of our gardening experiences have been positive and been on in the most ideal situations. That's great. That's a great story to have. And I have that story as well. But we're coming up to people who just don't care. Even in Jamaica, there's a lot of pollution and things that are happening. And when money's on the table, people do a lot of different things. And some of the things that are happening are affecting our soil and the dumping that's going on. So we need to really learn how to clean and remove toxins from the soil. But at the same time, we do need to make sure that we're learning the skills, as I said from last year, for indoor gardening and other types of gardening. You can't just use that one method anymore, in my opinion. Times have changed. External factors have changed. External factors are more dangerous to our health, and having other ways to grow food is going to be important. Other ways include growing outdoors, but having a hoop house or a high tunnel, because all the spraying going on and things going on, it's going into your food. So you're going to have other methods of growing food or protecting your food. I've been saying it, and it's becoming more prevalent nowadays because other factors are affecting the health of your soil and your food. And you need to protect that from the planes, and all these things are being sprayed. Crop dusting is still going on. So don't just put your eggs in one basket and say, I don't have to learn this, I don't have to learn that. Learn it. You may be actually pretty good at it too, and be able to help other people and have another option to pivot to if something happens in your area that affects your garden and your food forest. Give me a second here. I'm scrolling back. I think I missed. So microbes. Okay, saw that. I think TLC's answering something, but I think it would depend on how long the lot was there. The lot near me would be fine to grow on since the homes have been gone for over 20 years. I just can't afford the taxes for 8 lots. Okay. So are you responsible for, good morning, Devora. Are you responsible for the soil test, or is the city responsible? Like, who does that if you want to now change the use? It's a place where a house burned down. It's in a community suburban setting. I will ask the county about it. Yeah, ask. Definitely ask. And as I said, you can grow in the ground if it's safe, but you can grow on top of the ground with other methods. It's all about the microbes from the soil to your gut biome. I'm going to look that up again, Cheryl, that thing that I saw, and I'll talk about it next time I'm live. If it's not, is it next week? I know one Saturday I have a seminar. I think it's the 22nd. One of the weeks in March, I'll talk about it. And if you miss it, I'll put it in the subject line and the description line so you can go back and watch it. Because there's other ways to grow food, which is good to know because it'll open up more options. But for me, check the soil, make sure it's safe, and at least grow things on that soil, as Howie said, food forest permaculture, that are going to draw out the toxins, and things that are going to microbes that are going to clean up the soil for you. Even if I didn't know that house burned down, I would still do these things just to make sure, because I'm eating the food. So make sure that unless it's a natural farming community, but just make sure it doesn't hurt. Even in my backyard, there's spots that I don't really plant in. It's full of, I don't know, old debris from the construction people. So I leave it alone. But microbes, biochar is going to be your best friend. There was a good seminar on Grow Big TV about biochar, so you can check his channel for that. Their channel for that. The library, the local libraries, that's also good. Howie, the seed exchange libraries are prevalent. You can get seeds locally that are already acclimated to your local community, and you'll have more success with those seeds. The one thing that people don't talk about when it comes to buying seeds, it's great to buy all these seeds. It is great. But sometimes you'll find you don't get good results. And part of the reason is that they are not from your climate, they're from somewhere else. And you have to grow it a few times, harvest the seeds, and start to get a better strain that's for your community, especially when you're buying seeds from tropical climates and you're not in a tropical climate. Some seeds, if you're growing them indoors, it doesn't really matter. But when you're outdoors, there are other factors that affect the plant. And you're wondering, oh, these seeds are garbage. Seeds aren't garbage, or they're not bad seeds. It's that you're growing it in a completely different climate, and you have to now train that plant and put that into the DNA of the plant, things that are going to help it in your climate. So when you trade from people locally or you buy seeds local, that's, to me, is better, even though I buy seeds from all over the place. But you have to remember that sometimes it's not the seeds, it's that the seeds are from a hot climate and they weren't grown in your zone. Um, yeah, you don't know, Cheryl, you don't know. But it doesn't matter. It can be solved. That's the point. It can be solved. It will just take, oh, Virginia bought some seeds, some carrot seeds. See, carrot seeds, the only thing about carrots, you plant them in the spring, they need a lot of moisture. If you find that the ground or the pot is not keeping moist, you put some cardboard on top, and then they'll germinate. And once you see that they germinated, take the cardboard off of the carrot pot. But carrots were hard for me, but you have to plant them early. Like before they say to plant them, you planted them because they need moist conditions. And you probably should cover them with cardboard because these squirrels be digging up everything. As soon as you start planting something, you move the soil, you put fertilizer or whatever, you plant your seeds. They want to go there and dig up. They can dig anywhere else, but they'll dig where you just planted. Just letting you know. I'm going to wrap it up because I got to go somewhere. And but plant them carrots, and plant some brassicas. Collard greens and cabbages are pretty, except for the worms, they're pretty easy, and you'll enjoy them. They're very robust. How we made biochar today. I'm loading the biochar by soaking in water and adding wood ash, an 80 million year old dead creatures known as diet. Well, I have DE. I'm telling you, gardening and homesteading or permaculture doesn't have to be complicated, and you don't have to buy all these stuff from the store. You don't. But you have to have an understanding. I know Howie doesn't use anything external. He doesn't buy no blood meal, bull meal, none of that stuff. He uses what's on the land. And as you can see, he's growing in abundance. So the proof is in the pudding. So next time I'll find that stuff for Cheryl about the other ways of growing, and I'll tag it, but we'll talk about it as well, because it's good to know there's more than one way to skin a cat. And we are in a day and time where some of the land that we're getting may have been used for other things, especially in an urban setting. It may have been used for a factory. It may have been this. We don't know. And some things aren't disclosed unless you dig deeper into the history of the city with a real estate agent or the archive. Sometimes it's not just disclosed. You have to just know. So take that into account, but nothing's impossible. So thanks for popping in. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button before you leave. I'll see you soon. check out this week. I'll be launching the video for the update for the WIG. And for those who don't know, the WIG is on. You have until March the 10th now to drop the first video to let you know that you're in the challenge and what your 10 herbs you're growing. And we'll talk soon. Remember to be kind to yourself and be kind to others.